Hello out there to my fellow piano learners. My name's Christine and I want to welcome you back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you through the first piece of sheet music that I'm working on learning to sight read. I've been using the skills that I've picked up from the piano apps, Yousician, flowkey, and Simply Piano, as well as tips that have been given to me through the comments of my channel and a couple of YouTube videos I've looked at along the way. So today I'm just going to be taking you through how I picked this piece of sheet music to start with, and the steps I'm going through to learn how to play it. As always, I welcome any and all of your feedback, so please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. To begin with, the song that I have picked is called You Made Me Love You, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos recently. The words are by Joseph McCarthy and the music is by James V. Monaco. I'm just going to show you this here. And this is in a book called Piano Pieces for Adult Beginners, which I will link to in the description below. Most of these pieces are not all that simple. This, I think, is one of the simplest ones in the book, which is part of the reason I went with it. But while trying to find a piece of music to start learning to sight read, the first thing I was looking for was something in C major. So I didn't want any sharps or flats in the key signature. There are some sharps and flats in the song, but I don't have to deal with trying to remember which are the sharps and flats as I'm playing. Second, I picked one that's in 4/4 time. Probably if I had gone with something not in 4/4, I would have played it in 4/4 anyway, just to make the counting a bit easier for myself. But 4/4 is standard time, so obviously it's the simplest. And finally, I tried to go with a song that didn't have complex chords in it. The bass line of this song is all single notes. There are no chords in the bass line. And the treble clef, the most you play at one time is 2 notes. The more complicated part of this song are the values of the notes. There are dotted 8th notes in here and 16th notes. So I did have to go back onto Google and remind myself of how to count 16th notes in measures. So that's how I settled on going with this song. And I will say that if you want to hear what the song sounds like, you can check it out on YouTube. Just search You Made Me Love You. Judy Garland, I believe, has the most popular version of the song. There's 2 different versions by her, but one is when she's quite young and she's singing to a picture of Clark Gable. It's kind of cute. Her version doesn't match up exactly with what's in the songbook, but it'll give you an idea what it sounds like. I don't want to play it on here and get a copyright violation, so I'll let you guys search for it. Now, the steps that I've taken to begin to be able to sight read this piece with the piano are to start with the finger numbers. In the book already, not all the songs in this book have finger numbers, but fortunately this one does. You can see the finger numbering is printed on some of the notes, and then I've hand drawn in with my handy pencil the finger numbers that I think are the most comfortable for the rest of the notes, both on the treble and the bass, so both for the right hand and the left hand. Now, there were some finger numbers listed on here that were pre-printed that I didn't find them that comfortable based on the way I arranged the rest of it, so I just scribbled those out and made my own, because at the end of the day, I'm the one playing it, so how my hands are oriented needs to be comfortable for me. Now, the way I decided on the finger numbers was pretty straightforward. I just put the book down and slowly went through and figured out what was most comfortable for me, going from one position to the next on the music. Nothing elegant or special about the way I did it, just wanted to make it as easy to move around the keys as possible. Once I finished the finger numbers of the treble and the bass clef, the next step was to just work my way through the treble clef, so work my way through playing with the right hand. This is where I started to realize that I did not know how to count 16th notes. It had been a really long time. If you're familiar with counting notes, you know that a 4/4 timing, when you just have 4 counts, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, very easy. If you have 8th notes, it's 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N, so you can divide it up. If it's 16th notes, I Googled it, and what I found online was 1E-N-A, 2E-N-A, 3E-N-A, 4E-N-A. So again, you have to count that out as you're hitting the notes. I am still trying to get that right in the measures here that have the dotted 8th notes and 16th notes. But I'll go ahead and just play a few of the measures so you can see where I am. And of course, per everyone's very nice suggestions on YouTube, I am using the metronome. And I have it set extremely slowly to start. The first measure here is just 4 counts. It's a quarter note, a half note, and a quarter note. Really simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is how I'm going to work my way through the whole song. So the first measure is just You made me love This is where it starts to get tricky here, where we have those dotted eighths and sixteenths. So the third measure has dotted eighth, 16th, dotted eighth, 16th, eighth, quarter, eighth. I think my next step is that I'm going to be writing that out. The first note is one E and the second note is just the and then it's two E and the 16th note is just the So I'm gonna need to write all of that down underneath to make the counting easier so that I can get the tempo correct. I could just make it up. If you listen to the way Judy Garland sings it, she's not following the exact tempo. They put in their own style into it. But I'd like to make sure that I'm able to read it properly and play it. Once I've got the right hand down, then I will be working on learning the left hand. That is much simpler in the song. It's mostly quarter and half notes with some dotted quarter notes in here. So the tempo is pretty simple for the left hand, and then I'll be trying to put it together. So I hope you will stay tuned to see how I progress. I'm going to keep at this because I'm determined to get through it on my own. But I would welcome your feedback as to how you handle these challenges. Especially for me, it's the counting with the 16th notes right now that's the biggest struggle. So thanks so much for listening, and please stay tuned to find out how this ends up. Bye-bye.